G'day, mate. So, I was working on this tune here. Some kind of dubstep thing, I don't know. Anyway, I got some feedback on my bass tone. Someone commented that it wasn't quite hitting as hard as it could. They said that the second and third harmonic were kind of taking away from the weight of the fundamental frequency, which I thought was a fair criticism to make. Just not really doing its job properly. So I thought, well, hang on, how can I fix this? Because, I mean, I didn't really want to fix it at the source because I really liked the way all of this was hitting the amp and warming it up really nicely. Also, like the carrier here is actually a sine wave and there's a bit of FM going on, but yeah, I didn't really want to mess with that because that's part of the character. So I thought any subtractive EQ that I was going to do, I really wanted to do that at the end of the chain to kind of surgically sculpt it away, so to speak. So I thought, all right, how to best do that? And I actually found the solution in an EQ that I had under my nose the whole time, which you might already have. If you haven't, you should go get it because it's free. It's from Melda Productions. It's called M Equalizer. And we're going to pull that in. And all right, so we're going to open up this bands tab here. Click that button to open that up. And I'm just going to use the first band for now for ease of keeping track of where things are. Change that from a shelf to a peak. Okay. And let's narrow that Q right down to 4 or 5 or something. And let's pull the gain down and see what we got. So we're going to want to see this jump around by itself as the MIDI information instructs it to do so. So the way to do that is to go over to the right, open this toolbar, click MIDI, click Notes. Okay, we're going to go Enable. We're going to select Target Parameter. What we're going to control is EQ1, Frequency 1. Okay. It defaults to logarithmic, which is great. That's what we want. Now, if we press play, we should observe... No, we won't yet, actually. It does nothing yet. See, it doesn't move at all. Now, the reason for that is because it's not actually receiving any MIDI information yet. The MIDI information stops here. It doesn't go past operator. So what we need to do is we need to send it ourselves. So we're going to group this operator, create another chain, and we're going to need to add a external instrument. This process will vary depending on your DAW of choice, but this is the Ableton way. We're going to send it to the track we're on, bass. We're going to change that to M Equalizer. See how there's 16 channels here. It doesn't really matter which one you pick, but let's go for the first one. So once we've selected that, we should now see, if we play, yeah, away she goes. And now the thing is, right now, of course, it's pulling down the fundamental. It's pulling down the actual bass note itself, which is probably not what we want. We want to be taking care of the overtones. So the easiest way to do that, like let's say we want to pull down the second harmonic or the first overtone, which is the first octave up, we're going to use the shift knob here, which is measured in semitones. So we just double click that and hit 12. Great, cool. Now let's say that we also want to control the next harmonic, which is going to be an octave and a half above the fundamental frequency. We're going to add another one here, select target parameter. Oops, no, first I need to enable that. And then I need to pull the Q down, give it some gain. And then, yeah, select target parameter, EQ2, frequency 2, okay. And this time, instead of 12, we're going to go 19, because that's 12 plus 7, if you know your music maths. Lovely. So you can actually balance the levels of your fundamental versus your first few harmonics that way, which is really handy. And then you can also do the next one as well, which will be 24. After the third overtone, things start to get a little bit imprecise because the next overtone is going to be 2 octaves and a third, but it's not really 2 octaves and a third. It's sort of in between and kind of no man's land. So this really only works for the first few harmonics, but still it's a really handy trick for reining in your bass harmonics. One more thing to show you is that you can actually use this harmonics parameter here. Let's just turn this one off for now. And you can actually use this to get a little more control over the harmonics of this node, which is pretty fun. Or if you go into the negatives, then it does this funny pattern as well. I don't know how useful that is, but you can do a little bit more sculpting that way. But anyway, I just thought that this was a neat way to surgically control your overtones. I hope that's useful for you, and have a good day.